Ladies and gentlemen, it is Regan from Wannabe Cowb0y in collaboration with Live in the Living Room. It is my pleasure today to introduce all the way from Oregon, the amazing Jacquie Roar. Jacquie, how are you?
I'm okay. How are you, Regan?
Not too bad, it's been a long day for me. You're just waking up, time difference, trying to get used to it. But no, I'm glad to have you here. Tell us about yourself, for the people who don't know who you are, give us a little bit of insight.
Okay. I have a pretty long story, but I'll try to make it cut and dry. I was born in Chicago, raised in California for like my early younger years. And then we moved here when I was about 10. And I've always kind of written little jingles on like tiny pianos. And I just really got into music. I was on American Idol on season 13. And coming off of that show, I got like really bad anxiety. So it created stage fright for me. I wasn't able to sing for a few years. And then I started my own karaoke company because I felt pretty confident singing karaoke, at least when
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
other people's
yeah.
songs.
Just trying to get out there.
Yeah. And then I don't know, I just started trying out for The Voice, and every year they deny me. And 9 years after, 9 or 10 years, um, they finally accepted me, and I made it to the top four and on Team Reba.
Yeah,
And
I saw that. I mean, so the people that don't know, you got the famous four chair swing, wasn't it?
yes, the four
So
chair.
not many people get all four chairs turning, and that is it's something to, especially over here, the UK voice. It's completely different. I imagine over there they get millions and millions of entries. And to be a person that can say I've been on the voice and got the four chair swing, it must be a pretty cool accolade. I can't lie.
I, I was only praying for one.
That Reba.
Yeah. Well, no, actually, I was
Oh,
praying.
really?
Yeah. Listen, people are really like surprised when I say that, but the reason why is because I'm at heart like a rocker.
Hmm.
And so I thought Gwen would understand me the most
Yeah.
because, her
Okay.
ska days
Yeah. Of
and then
course.
her marrying into the country realm. I thought she would understand what I was trying to do, marrying rock and country together, like a
Yeah.
grunge rock country.
Yeah. You can't go wrong with it. Like grunge rock. That's what we love about the music at the moment. There's so many different variations and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like we've got so many artists coming through. Kind of relates to obviously yourself then. So in a sense, for people, you're not really nonchalant country, are you? In my like, you're not, um, old school. You've got a bit more of an upbeat, which I like. It's a bit more, um, get on the dance floor and party away rather than sit in a chair and relax. Um, which kind of takes us on to your recent release.
Yes.
So I've listened to it a couple of times. I can't get it out of my head. For people that don't know, it's called "That's a Spirit." Do you want to tell us a little bit about that, just to start us off? Because it's so different but so captivating, and I won't lie, very catchy.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's the spirit. I think as of this morning it hit 25,000 streams, which is
Oh,
just on
yeah. There we go.
Spotify
Yeah.
alone. I'm pretty proud of that. It surpassed Big Mood by leaps and bounds. But um, That's the Spirit was written at Curb Word with Bobby Tomberlin, who wrote like a number one hit for Diamond Rio, and with Kurt Gibbs, who writes number ones for Dylan Scott all the time. Um,
Big name for
and
them.
yeah, and I was just like, I'll be honest with you. This is when I was drinking and I was so hungover, and I was like, God, I don't want to go to this writing, but I have to because this is work. I can't miss work
Yeah,
just
of
because
course.
I decided to be an idiot last night. So I was trying to hide being hungover, and I in my head, all I could think of is, come on, girl, you got it. That's the spirit. And then I was like, I wonder if we could turn that into a song, which is, it's such a weird line. But we made it work, and I told him I wanted a certain BPM, and Kurt just went to town on building a beat so that we could write. And by the end of the song, Bobby goes, man, I got to be honest with you. I was kind of like, I hope she doesn't want to do something crazy emotional because I'm just not in the mood to get that deep this
Yeah, of
morning.
course.
I'm so glad you wanted to party. And I'm like, yep, that's exactly what I wanted to do, was party some more.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's one of those. Yeah, it's just. I don't know, just gets once you get up and with a drink in your hand and enjoy your time. But obviously, when you were writing that, obviously you said you'd had a drink and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
You always more thought of yourself in that side of country. You want to make these party anthems, get people on the dance floor, singing and dancing.
I think just naturally I want to make people happy. I'm such a I wouldn't say a people pleaser, but if you are in my, friend group, my friend
Mhm.
circle, I always want to make people happy and keep them happy. And, I've DJ'd a lot of years, like almost 15 years. And that was my job, is to host parties. So I guess it only comes natural that my songs are more about just having fun and being energetic and being upbeat, because, it's really rare when you're going to get a ballad from me. It, and if you do, it's going to be hard for me to sing it because I can't stop freaking crying.
Yeah, of
You
course.
know, I'm like, that's why I want to party instead of cry.
Yeah, no, I think everyone wants that. Everyone wants to enjoy the happy times and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
let's turn the clock back away from the new single that's just released.
Okay.
You've worked with huge artists. You've opened for Kelsey Ballerina. You've worked with Gary Allen, stuff like that. And I think one of the biggest things I've seen that, as myself as a fan, I was incredibly jealous. Tell us about your time with Jelly Roll. This this man has started from nothing. He's working his way up. To have that opportunity to work with someone who is becoming so big, that must be an incredible thing to say. You must be able to go like, I've been with this person.
You know, um, it was very surreal, and I just told myself, if I don't know if I can say this, but the balls or the guts,
Don't worry,
if I don't have,
yeah, you're good. You're good.
okay, if I don't have the balls to do this now, I'm gonna miss my chance, and it was a full circle moment for me too, because, I sang his song on The Voice, and it was like a dream of mine. He was actually supposed to be on our season doing the finale, and he
Yeah,
ended up sick, so Teddy Swims had to step in for him.
I mean, that's still a pretty good replacement if you ask me.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. And Teddy was awesome too. But I was just so excited that it was kind of like a second chance to be able to meet him. And then he ended up being exactly who you thought he would be. He's so tangible. Like, he's just such a real person. And he didn't act like he was better than anybody. He was hanging out, he was talking with us, like, and I asked him a few questions, and he just gave me his best answers that he could give me, and gave me some real good advice in this music industry. And then I was just like, hey, listen, I would love it, because, I sang your song on The Voice. If we could just do a 30-second clip of us singing, Need a Favor, so I could put it on TikTok. And he was like, oh yeah, no, totally, let's do that. And I was like, okay. He goes, you just want to do Need a Favor? And I said, yeah. He goes, well then, let's not do it for TikTok. Why don't you just get on stage and sing it with me?
Oh wow.
And I was like, what? So,
Inside was the inner fangirl screaming inside, but you're
oh
like, gotta
man,
keep it going, gotta be professional.
yeah, no, I was not professional. I was like, listen, I'll be honest with you. I probably was not professional, because I was like, first of all, your wife is so hot. And he was like, yeah, I know. I was like, no, you really need to know how hot she is.
I think he must get like told that regularly,
All the time,
all
all
the
the time. And
time.
I don't know if it's like by men and women. I could only assume men and women, because she is that beautiful. So, but he was so cool. And um, yeah, I will never forget that moment. It wasn't just him that made that performance so big, for me. I was so emotional. They had painted pictures of me. They had written, hand drawn
Yeah,
some beautiful things, and written poetry, and made me certain things, like out of candy wrappers, like these pair of shoes.
yeah,
And it was such a cool moment. And to see Jelly Roll come in and know that that's where he came from, and to show them, like, this could be your life outside, not necessarily that dream, but you can do something
yeah, of course.
other than crime. So, yeah, it was scary. It was my adrenaline was kicked to 1,000%, and not only that, but I also had to leave that stage to go to the Oregon State Fair and put on a whole different show within
Yeah,
like a 10-minute gap. So it was yeah, that's probably my favorite performance of all time. Is I mean, I love,
it's one definitely to hold in a heart. You've got to
yeah,
like,
for sure.
you know, yeah, being in the UK, Jelly Roll has recently been cleared to come with Post Malone. You know,
Yeah.
I was lucky enough to get a ticket for the show, and I was a bit like as you were then when he announced that he's coming to the UK fully. I was just over the moon. Um, but stepping back a little bit, then we'll go back, to The Voice. We've touched on it a little bit already.
Yeah.
But tell me, what was it like under Team Gwen?
Um, listen, I I will not lie and say that I'm still just a little disappointed, you know. It still kind of hurts when I think about it because I love Gwen. I played out like all her albums, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And I told her that. I'm like, dude, your Kingdom album was so freaking, it was a smash, like from front to back. And I thought that she would really understand what I was trying to do. And she was like, you're perfect and you're polished and this and this and that. And then the way that I could hear it, for some reason it just didn't sit right with me. I'm like, you're you're totally into, like, your bias is the person you're picking. And I knew it from rehearsals. So I actually left rehearsals and I cried because I knew she was picking Bias, and Bias was like,
yeah,
"No, man, you don't know what's going to happen. Maybe it's an act, and maybe she's like pumping me up, and I'm going to have a hard fall." And I was like, "Dude, I bet you $100 that she's going to dump me." And then the day of, I said, "That bet is still on, but I bet you that Reba is going to save me." And
it's like you can tell the future. But how
I
crazy.
I was manifesting. There was no, I didn't see it, but I just knew that that was the path. I'm like, I'm making this happen,
Yeah.
So,
Of course, yeah. It's like just you've got to not think the negative. You've got to think positive. Right, I'm still going to be here. Obviously, you were. You made it all the way through to the final, which again, massively impressive. I'm not an artist at all, so I don't know what it's like. The battle, but I can imagine on The Voice it was a dog eat dog world, and to say, you've got to be the best every week.
it didn't feel like that. I don't know how to explain it. It's like it didn't feel like that with the people that you were in a group. Like Huntley never made it feel like a competition. Like my core group of people, it was never like I'm better than you or whatever. We all supported each other. We were all each other's shoulders. If somebody was upset about something, like my situation with Bias, at first I was excited that we were teamed together, but then the feeling afterwards, after it hit me, was like, one of us might go home, and that's
Yeah.
my bro. Like, that's my buddy. He he
Like
he was
splitting
there
that
day one.
family.
Yeah, like he was my bestie. Him and Steve were my day one people. So um you get attached, and I'm such a loyal person. So I just told Bias, I'm like, no matter what, neither of us are going home. We're gonna make this a duet, not a battle. And that's what we did. So um I will say that our battle, nobody knows this, but our battle, we were supposed to go on and one of the cameras shut down and wasn't working. So we had to wait a whole hour before they could get a new camera in.
Right.
So you're ready to go. Your adrenaline is going,
Yeah.
right? You're supposed to go on, and then you don't. And you're like, oh my God, I'm crashing. So they had to bring me like 2 tablespoons of honey before I went on so I
Yeah.
could have like a sugar rush. And I don't know. Anyways, it was a crazy time.
I can
And
imagine. Yeah.
anyways, I made it. So that's all
Good.
that matters.
That's all that matters. So before we get into like the final couple of parts, talking about this new upcoming single that you've got coming out, I
Yeah.
just want to know a little bit about your time in Nashville. Oakbury Plaza, performing Whiskey Jam. If you can give me a CMA Fest, huge things. Nashville, we all know the home of country, and to perform on those stages, what did that feel like?
I would say 3 or 4 years ago, I went to record 3 songs. It was Big Mood, Bad Habit, and High Heel High. And I sat on those songs when I found out that I was going to be on The Voice because I didn't want to release anything before. I wanted to release it after, so kind of blow it up, right? And so I didn't really ever, I mean, I dreamed of having an album. I dreamed of having songs out. I dreamed of all that. But The Voice really made it possible for me. It was the catalyst to get on those stages. And, I had a great team behind me at the time that kind of, I think, also made those things possible.
It's all about having the right people around you, isn't it? Like
Yeah.
people that want to be there for you to help you rather than leech off you for their own success, as some people would say.
Yeah. That, that was one of the things that Winona told me. The best piece of advice is to surround yourself with people you trust, like Jesus did with the 12 disciples. That's word for word what she said. And I thought, oh my God, that is brilliant, because you have to have a team. If you have weak, if my weakness is organizing, I need to find somebody who's strong in that. So getting on these stages was an honor, obviously. I mean, I got to usher people into Lainey Wilson's induction.
Yeah,
And it was kind of hot. So they're like all under the cover, like cheering from, thousands of feet away, like, yeah, you did
yeah.
good. And then there's like a good loyal pack hanging out in front of the stage. And it was such a cool moment for me. And Huntley happened to be in town at the time. So I was like, you know what? And it was his birthday too.
Oh,
I
even
was
better.
like,
Why
I
not
want to give you
celebrate?
a birthday present. Like, why don't you come and join on the stage with me? And my team was kind of like, don't share that
Yeah,
moment.
then a case of that you've been together working for like so long. Like
Yeah,
you said,
yeah,
it literally feels like your brother. You got to help these people.
yeah. Well, Huntley surely doesn't need my help, but it was a nice gift. And I think that if I, in my heart, genuinely feel that if it was, the tables were turned, I think Huntley would have invited me up to sing with him. So um for me, it's just about being loyal and to my word. To my word, I promised them that I would get them gigs out in Oregon. I've done that. I promised Huntley would share a stage. I've done that. So my stuff is fulfilled.
Your bargain is done. Now it's just the
Yeah.
other way. No,
Now I get to concentrate on myself. I kept my word, and now my moral compass is
yeah.
still intact, and I keep it moving.
As you can imagine, being from the UK, it's hard to get out of Nashville with cost and stuff like that. But it's definitely on the bucket list. I need to get myself over there.
You have
Yeah,
to.
I know.
Oh my God, let me know when you're going, because if you are gonna go, I would love to be the person to show you around.
Oh, happily. We'll communicate. That's fine. After this, I'm more than happy to. Um,
Okay.
but so tell me, I'm pretty sure on your Instagram, I saw on your story, a little bit of filming here and there.
Yes.
So the new release date I've heard for Boots in the Sand, 30th of May this month.
Yes.
Tell me about it. Much,
Well,
without giving too much away, just give us a little snippet of what made you want to write this song. Is it a party anthem? Are we going back a bit to know, a bit more of a chill country vibe? Go on, a little tiny exclusive.
I will tell you that I'm gonna start teasing it on, I think, either Thursday or Friday.
Okay,
Finally,
okay.
I think I teased That's the Spirit a little too long, so I'm just doing like a 2 week, maybe week and a half type thing before. But it's a beach vibe. I did That's the Spirit. It's a nice summer bop. It's really energetic. It gets you in the mood for partying. And then Boots in the Sand is more like a Kenny Chesney vibe, where you're like, yeah,
Oh, okay,
I'm
yeah,
sipping on a margarita and I'm kind of swaying and I'm just enjoying the sun on my skin. So I think it'll be really cool. There's not a lot of female songs like that, because you got Pontoon, and then you maybe got Southbound by Carrie Underwood, and that's it. The rest
yeah.
of the songs are all males. So I just kind of wanted to do something different, and I wrote that with Chris Mackey, aka Dirty Rice, and David Tolliver, and we were working on it. And I was supposed to have another session with Daniel Etheridge, and he's like, "Hey, well, let me just jump in on your session, and we'll kill two birds with one stone." And I was like, "Okay." So he brought his friend, so Eli Willer, and it was like it ended up going from 3 people to 5 people writing this song. But it's such a cool song, you know. So I'm excited. I'm excited to release it. I think it's gonna be people are gonna be like, "What the heck is
Is it
Jackie doing?"
is it one of your favorites so far? Would you say?
No, no,
No.
no, no, no. It's
Oh,
not my
okay.
favorite.
That's
No,
fair. Are we
my
talking?
favorite is coming out in June, and
Oh, oh.
I can't wait for
Let's
that one.
we'll keep that one under wraps for the moment. Yeah, but would you say then, obviously, you say talking about Margarita vibes, as much as it is harder over here, would you say it's very much get in your truck, bed down, chill with mates, have a good time kind of song?
Yeah, I feel like it's more gosh, it's like if Nico Moon and Morgan Wallen and Kenny Chesney wrote a song together.
Now that would be incredible.
You know what I mean? So it's like really
Manifest that. Manifest that.
oh my God. Yeah, no, I mean, well, Big Mood was written by Nico Moon and
Yeah,
Jason Mater and Jake Rose. And so you hear that big type of bass sound, you're gonna get that, but it's also gonna be super island vibes. So it's like a chill party song. I don't know, other than just like yeah,
yeah, of course, I
this,
get you. So
this is the vibe.
yeah, I can't wait for it. I'm pretty sure I'll go straight in my playlist when it comes out. So don't worry about that. You'll have one, definitely, probably a couple of hundred streams of it from me alone. It'll go straight in
Okay,
the summer
cool.
playlist. So events for the year. Been made aware that you're going to be at, is it Pedlington Whiskey Music Fest over your way?
Yeah. Oh my God. Yes, I'm gonna be opening up for Riley Green, Cody Johnson, Ian Munsick, Nelly.
Yeah,
Like,
huge names.
yeah, I mean, I'm gonna try my best to see if I can sing a song with Cody. I'm gonna just do what I did with Jelly and Jackson, is just be
Yeah,
like, "Yo, can I sing with you?" So hopefully, I mean, not that I don't want Carrie Underwood to show up, but if she
yeah, of
does that,
course.
maybe I could get that duet with him.
And maybe for the whole of the female nation who's into country music, you can convince Riley to grow his mustache back.
I will plant it on him.
By social
Yes.
media, you might have done about yours. It's been crazy since he shaved it off.
I have not. Is that this morning? I haven't
Yeah,
even
I think it
seen that.
was. Yeah,
Oh my
it's
God.
gone.
Yeah. No. Well, you had a whole day. I just woke up. So,
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But no, before we get into our final closing thing, then, so as very much as you do shows in the States, you need to get over here. Try and
okay.
get yourself over to the UK.
I am not lying when I tell you I had a phone call yesterday with somebody who has a lot of connections in the UK, and we are talking about putting together a tour. I don't know if I can find anything that would make it enough for me to bring my whole
Mhm.
band.
Yeah,
But if I can put stuff together enough for just me and my guitars to go as a duet, then we're probably going to do like an acoustic tour in the
oh,
UK.
people would love that over here. Acoustic country in the UK at the moment, again, is massive. As much as we like the big produced stuff, you know, smaller venues with just an acoustic set, we love it over here. And like you said, if I go to Nashville, you want to show me around, you come to the UK, we can meet in London. I can show you all the sites. We'll do the standard tourism. There's Big Ben, there's the Tower of London, there's the Shard,
I
all
love
these sites. But no. So it brings me on to my final question then.
yes.
As we all know, you can't spell country without try. So, Jacquie Roar, where do you want to try and get to in country music?
I thought you were going to go with the first words, not the last words.
Okay, yeah. No, no, don't worry. No. No.
You're like, you can't spell country without.
It's spelled, it won't work though, there's a no.
There is, yes. Okay, so where, okay, I want to try. I think I'm not going to be satisfied until I have a sold out arena show.
Okay.
I mean, I wouldn't say my end goal, but that's when I will feel like I've finally made it. I get all these really cool opportunities, and I feel high all day long, like, oh my God, this is happening. And then the next day, I gotta be honest, I crash. I crash really hard and I'm like, I'm not doing enough. Like I need to do more. Like, how do I go viral? How do I do this? Because, in the background, I'm struggling. I'm it's it's so complicated because it's easier to be a beginning artist than to be the middle artist, where you're almost
Yeah,
going over that hump because all these opportunities show up and they're still not enough. It's like I sang with Jelly Roll, still wasn't enough. I've gone into label meetings, still not enough. Like my numbers aren't high enough, my streams aren't high enough. This that. I've hired a business from the UK to help me with my playlisting. So I'm not using bots. They're helping me with my algorithmic things. And it's funny because like I'm here, but I'm using people in the UK to like help me with those kinds of things. But yeah, I mean, the struggle is real. So even though it looks like I'm being super successful from your end, it doesn't feel successful for me. It
yeah, of
feels
course.
like just another notch in the bedpost, and I am grateful for these moments. Please don't misinterpret that. Like I feel super blessed. I feel honored. But it's not enough. I want more and I'm gonna get more. So
That's the
that's
best.
it.
That's the best thing to do. We've talked about manifesting, manifest that. So, unfortunately, that's all my questions. You've picked my brain so much I can't think of anything else.
Okay.
For the
Awesome.
people watching, obviously this will be live on the Live in the Living Room socials and the Wannabe Cowb0y socials. But Jacquie, let the people know where they can find you.
You can always find me on my website, JacquieRoar.com, /events if you want to see where I'm at. And my name is spelled super weird. I don't know if you can see it, but it's JACQUIE. And that's my handle, all Jacquie Roar with the blue check mark. Don't let anybody scam you and ask you for money because that gets a lot.
Well, yeah, there we go. Then your socials will be on the screen, I'm sure of it. But Jacquie, it's been a pleasure to speak to someone as talented as yourself today. Thank you for coming on. Like I said, hopefully we'll communicate soon. You come London, I'll hit you up. You come
Yeah.
Nashville, you'll hit me up. We'll work it out. But you go and enjoy the rest of your day. It's evening time here, so I'm going to go and cook some food, get something to eat. But
Thank
all
you.
the best, and hopefully we'll see you in the UK soon.
Yes, very soon.
Thank you very
Thanks
much.
for having me, Regan.
Bye bye.
Bye.